Hey cuties, I'm Lanikia and you're watching What Happened on the Soaps. This is General Hospital Edition. Today is Monday, August 29th, 2022. And on a scale of 1 to 10, y'all know how we do. Oh my gosh, what do I give it? I gotta give this like an 8. It was an 8 to me. All right, let's keep going. All right, so we see Cody and Britt. Why y'all didn't tell me they was kissing Friday? They kissed? I must have blacked out on them. But anyways, she said, "You're just trying to kiss me to distract me from the fact that I'm asking you, why do you keep wanting to know about my dad and Peter?" And he says, you like the kiss or whatever. Why is it so hard to just admit you like the kiss? Why is it so hard to talk about yourself and everything?" And so she tells him because she was in love with a man and the man ended up dying. And so good things always come with pain. And so that's why she feels the way that she does or whatever. And so they're like, okay. So he was like, okay. He was like, but maybe this time is different. So I don't know. I guess they're gonna wear something else or something like that. But anyways, go on with your man, Britt. Let's move on. So we see Spencer. Okay, so Valentine Finn comes through and he said, have you seen Elizabeth? And Valentine said, no, I was looking for Anna. And he said, no, I haven't seen Anna. And so then they hear moaning and groaning. They said, what is that? It's Spencer, Lord. This baby keeps drinking. Like he is out of there at this point. So they say, Spencer tells them, he tells Valentine, you started this. You started the cause of my life. You came through wanting an inheritance that did not belong to you, made my father pretend to be dead or whatever. And it just started the downward spiral. And Valentine's like, if I did anything to you that caused, you harm, I'm sorry or whatever. And so then Finn and Spencer was talking. He said, you know what? I can't even blame Valentine because at the end of the day, my daddy makes decisions on his own. And so Finn was like, you might not want to hear this advice from me or whatever, but, sometimes our parents aren't, we have to let go of that Superman image and they're not, they're human or whatever. And Spencer said, listen, I'm glad that worked out for you and your daddy. But as for me and my daddy, we're going on like this. Like it is what it is. And so at this point, it looked like Spencer and Finn were really connected, and he was about to tell Finn something. Y'all, I'm sorry. Mila is feeling better, and so I know you hear her in the background. I have the door closed and everything, but she is feeling much better now. Anyways, so we see Victor come through, and he like, Spencer, I've been looking for you. And he tells Finn, this family business, will take care of it. And Finn says, look like we was making some leeway. Spencer, do you want me to leave? And Spencer says, I'm okay with being with my great uncle. And so Spencer talks to Victor, and Victor says, he pretty much dropping hints, and Victor says, listen, you don't have to drop hints. I already know. He said, what my dad told you he slept with Esme, because Victor was like, I already know you're upset because you found out your dad slept with Esme. He was like, what my dad told you or whatever. And he said, well, he says, yes, but we can all work this out. We can make sure, he doesn't want to go outside of the family, pretty much. He says, so, we can all work this out. Your dad's not perfect. And Spencer, like, I don't want to hear none of this that you talking. I don't want to hear none of that. And so he was like, I'm about to go. And Victor was like, no, because you've been drinking. I don't think you need any more drinks. He said, don't worry. I'm not going to spill the secret or whatever. About you being the one who released me from prison. He said, no, I'm afraid you're gonna spill this secret about what your dad did with Esme. He said, actually, that won't make me look good. So I'm drunk, but I ain't that drunk. He said, or how can you be sure? He said, I just want to forget this night. Spencer was like, I just want to forget this night. I don't know what happened in the last few hours. And I said, oh Lord. So then we see Elizabeth, who has had another episode, and Nicholas comes through and he's like, Elizabeth. And so she starts telling him about everything that Finn has been doing as far as bringing up her parents and pressuring her to talk about it and thinking that she's crazy, she says, and all of this information. And then he starts talking about Ava and how you could love somebody sometimes, but you push their boundaries too far, and or they go too far. This man really is still blaming Ava for what has happened between him and Spencer. And he said she was vindictive, and I said, sir, she did not know your son was behind you, and had you left her alone like she had been begging you to, you wouldn't have got your feelings hurt or whatever. 3:33. But it is what it is. And then Finn comes up, because I'm not gonna hold y'all long on this. um oh, and she did tell him that Finn called her sister Sarah, and just all the stuff that Finn has been doing. And so then Finn comes up and he's like, Elizabeth, I'd like to speak to you. And Nicholas said, you ain't speaking to her alone. And he says, why don't you go worry about your son? Because I saw him and it looks like he needs help. He said, my son don't need nothing from me, but I'm not gonna leave you here with Elizabeth by yourself, by her, alone. And Finn is trying to tell Elizabeth, can we please, I'm sorry about everything I've done, can we please just go and talk? Elizabeth ain't trying to listen to Finn. So then we see that Jocelyn was on the phone with Michael and them talking about Wiley and everything, and Nina is there, and Nina just trying to drop off this dessert, and Jocelyn laying her to her, and Nina says, "Listen, Jocelyn, I'm just here to drop off this. There was a mix-up. I'm here to drop off this dessert, nothing more, nothing less." And she said, "Good, because you're not going to see Wiley." And she said, I understand that. I'm just here to drop off the dessert. Olivia knows that I'm here. And she says, well, I'm going to tell you, get out. You're not welcomed here or whatever. And so Sonny come through and he's like, what's going on here? And Jocelyn said, listen, I'm only going to be courteous because you did try to help Trina or whatever. But this be, and I said, oh, wait a minute now. I didn't like it. I know y'all, those of you who don't like Nina probably enjoyed or relished at this, Jocelyn calling her out of her name and everything and talking real disrespectful to her. But I didn't like it because I'm like, this girl is a teenager. Nina is a grown woman. I don't care what she did to your mom. You might not like her or whatever, but to speak that way, I didn't like it. And that wasn't it for me. And I was like, see, this is why I borderline like you, Carly Jr. This is why I borderline like you. And so she take off. She say what she gotta say and she take off. And Sonny, he tries to apologize to Nina. She's like, I'm not worried about, what a little teenager has to say or whatever she said, but people don't want me here, and so I'm about to go. And he was like, no, you're here as me. And he said, we're not finna let people run us off or whatever. There might be people here who don't want to talk to you, but there are also people here who would be happy to see you. And she said, you know what? And he said, plus, I'm gonna make my rounds or whatever, wrap this up, and then we can go on home and do some things. And I said, Lord, Sonny. And she said, okay. Bye, Nina. Hey. But at this time, Anna comes in and she says, sorry for interrupting. She said, you know what? I'm not sorry for interrupting. Sonny, I need to talk to you. And he says, okay. So, Anna talks to Sonny because Nina says, okay, it sounds important. I'm going to go. So Anna talks to Sonny, right? And she talks to Sonny about just, do you have anything on Victor? Is he moving something on the, on the, is it the wharf? The wharf? Anyways, he said, nah, the only thing I know is he took Spencer out of Spring Ridge. And he said, honestly, Spencer didn't want to give him up. And he said, and I'm kind of proud of him. She said, Sonny is like, I preach loyalty to him. She said, you're lucky to have him. He said, even with this going on with me and Nina and everything, she said, you choose love. Who gonna knock, like, who am I to knock that or whatever? And so it is what it is. So then we see Valentine and Nina. They ain't talking about nothing, y'all. Honestly, they not talking about nothing. So we see Victor and Nina just talking about, her relationship with Sonny and how does she feel about having the hotel. And she said, listen, it is what it is at this point. I know it's going to be hard. It is hard. It is hard. I'm working on the staff. I'm bringing them around to me. With Olivia, it is what it is. With other people, I don't care. Like, I want to be with Sonny. Sonny wants to be with me. And that's how we're just going to roll with this. And I said, well, okay then. Okay then. So then we see Mac and Felicia. Mac and Felicia are talking. And Mac tells Felicia, about Dominique's husband. Is it Leopold? Anyways, she says, what if Dominique was pregnant and didn't know it? He said, remember he had her locked up in a psych ward, and he was like, but why would he want to hide because he was all about getting Dominique's money, so why would he want to hide the child? Because it was your child, Mac. You and Felicia had children and didn't even know it. That's all I can see, is they gonna say that Cody is Mac's child and Esme is Felicia's. That's all I know. That's all I see. Well, anyways, as they're talking, Olivia runs up and she said, oh my God, Mac, I just got word that somebody was stabbed on our property. So Mac said, oh, let's go look. And so then we see Jocelyn runs up on Ava and she's like, oh my God, Ava, because they hooked Ava or whatever, and she's bleeding and stuff. Ava bleeding a lot. And Jocelyn was like, oh my God, Ava, I left my cell phone. Where, girl? Where did you leave your cell phone? She was like, Ava, do you have your cell phone? And Ava didn't have hers. Like, she can't even speak to you. And she said, and Jocelyn was like, I'm gonna run get help. And Ava said, no, Jocelyn, please don't leave me. And so Jocelyn said, Ava, I gotta get help. And so she said, so she tried to yell help. Ain't nobody hearing you, because apparently they real separated on this whole thing. And so she finds a towel and she runs to get the towel. But some kind of way, Dex is there because he was supposed to be bringing, signing some paperwork for Sonny, bringing paperwork for Sonny. So Dex happened to come through, and he like, okay, he takes care of the situation because he said because he was in Afghanistan, he knows Ava don't have enough time. She's losing a lot of blood, so he does strips of the towel to try to stop the bleeding. And he's like, we got to move her now. And so he's talking and walking Josh through this. He said, let's get her to the hospital. She got like 20 minutes and she's going to be dead because her organs going to start shutting down. So then Ava gets to the hospital and her organs, they doing all the tests and saying that she need negative blood and all the stuff they need to go and tell the ER to be OR to be prepped for and ready for her or whatever. And then Josh gives Dex his phone back and all that because they're there, and she gives his phone back, and he says thanks. And she said, if Ava makes it, it's going to be because of you. So then Valentine and Anna talk, right? They finally meet up with each other, and she was like, there's an attack, Jordan's on her way. He was like, who is it? And because she tried to say maybe if Victor had something to do with it. He said, you can't possibly think Victor had something to do with this. She said, it depends on the victim. And then Jordan hit her up and said Ava Jerome was the victim, and she showed Valentine the message. I said, Lord have mercy, y'all this is about to be like Abigail when we try to figure out who did it or whatever. I think Esme did it, but that's just me. Some of y'all said Elizabeth. Other people said it could be Nicholas. So we're going to, or some of y'all said Valentine might have had something to do with it. One person I don't think did it was Spencer. But anyways, we about to see all what's gonna go down. So then she tells him who it was or whatever, and he looking like, oh Lord, it could be. And so then Sonny calls Frank, and he said, tell Dex I understand why he didn't come. And so Nina comes in, and he was like, yeah, there was an attack. He was like, I know he took the person. So he was on the phone with Frank, and he said, I know he took the person that was attacked I know he took her to the ER. And so Nina come in and she said, somebody was attacked on the Quartermaine property? And he says, yes. And she said, who? You said her. He was like, Ava. And she was like, Sonny, Ava, because she and Ava real tight. And I said, damn, Sonny, you didn't seem all that concerned. Like, you need to go to the hospital. That is the mother of your child, sir. And so she said, I got to get to the hospital, Sonny. He said, all right, I'm going to ride with you or whatever. I said, okay, then go on to the hospital. So then Mac, Felicia, and Olivia there, and Elizabeth, Finn, Spencer, Victor all come up, and they're like, Matt, what's going on? He said, Ava Jerome was attacked. And they're like, what? Nicholas is like, excuse me, what? And Elizabeth was like, what's going on? Like, what? And he said, yeah, she was attacked. She's in critical condition. They don't know she's gonna make it or whatever. And then Olivia started praying, and Nicholas is like, I gotta get to the hospital for my wife. I gotta get to the hospital. And he said, nah, Nicholas, y'all not finna go nowhere. We need to know where y'all were tonight. Like, we need to know everybody's whereabouts or whatever. I said, Lord have mercy. And y'all, that was General Hospital today. it was solid to me. It was a good 8. And who please let my girl make it, but I'm sure she gonna make it because I haven't heard about her leaving the show. But anyways, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe to the channel, and I will see you tomorrow for a new episode of What Happened on the Soaps General Hospital edition. Thank you for watching. Goodbye.